Good morning, Centennial. Today is Friday, May 3rd, and you're watching Titan TV. I'm Krishan.
And I'm Abby. And on this week's Titan TV, we will be learning about a stylish way to save money, staying safe on the internet, ways to earn extra cash, and much more.
Stay tuned.
Sign you off for Titan TV. Recorded on camera 6. Hello. JD made this.
Earth Day was last week. What do you do to be green?
Race takes a look at ways our school is working to do just that.
Tests, homework, quizzes, worksheets, and assignments. To students, every one of these has a different meaning, but in reality, it requires the same thing: paper. At Centennial, the school orders about 125 cases of paper per month and uses slightly less than that in order to not have an issue of running out. These 125 cases contain 5,000 sheets each, amounting to 625,000 pieces of paper per month. Each box costs $27.10, adding up to $3,387. The only bad part about it? The extreme amount of cuts in usage to even make a dent in the money spent on the paper instead of adding it to other departments. That sum does not even consider the amount of ink put on the paper themselves. Titan TV was able to talk to a teacher about what she does to cut down on paper and her opinion on the usage by the school.
Well, one of the things that I do to cut down on paper use is to use paper that I have made too many copies of, and so I use that as scratch paper. One of the other things I do is cutting the paper in quarters, so that we're not using as many pieces of paper, but everyone is able to use my paper. They're not having to use their own. I do believe that online courses are beneficial, but I also believe that hands-on activities where kids can see their work in front of them are more beneficial to students. I do agree that we use too much paper here, but I think it's up to each individual teacher as to how much paper they can cut out of their class according to the classwork.
In the end, a thin piece of paper can have a bigger impact than we could ever know.
Going digital is great for the environment, but it can bring about some other concerns. Here's John.
We've all been told to be careful about what we say and do online. However, the information you post might be getting to more hands than you think.
With the State of the Union also comes a new executive order and the reintroduction of CISPA, or the Cyber Intelligence Sharing and Protection Act, in the House of Representatives.
And that's why earlier today, I signed a new executive order that will strengthen our cyber defenses by increasing information sharing and developing standards to protect our national security, our jobs, and our privacy.
The executive order broadly describes how the government can build a framework with the private sector to share information on cyber attacks and threats. The stated aim of the order is to help the U.S. government investigate cyber threats and ensure the security of networks against cyber attacks on private businesses or on vital infrastructure, something on the minds of politicians as hacktivist groups and governments around the globe advance their cyber capabilities. On the topic of CISPA being reintroduced in the House, though, critics have pointed out that it gives a lot of power to the government on the topic of information gathering. Some of the criticisms included that there would be a lack of a necessity for a warrant or subpoena to obtain private information, the ability of governments and private companies to share information with each other, military access to the information, and companies participating being immune from criminal or civil liability. Critic Sir Tim Berners-Lee, the creator of the World Wide Web hypertext, has said that CISPA is threatening the rights of people in America and effectively rights everywhere, because what happens in America tends to affect people all over the world. Even though the SOPA and PIPA acts were stopped by a huge public outcry, it's staggering how quickly the U.S. government has come back with a new, different threat to the rights of its citizens. The new age of information brings the possibility to bring people together and build new relations faster than ever before, while simultaneously adding to the threats prevalent in our world today. The question that rests on us is that when it comes to matters of security versus privacy, how far is too far? This is John for Titan TV.
Due to the advancements in cybersecurity, many feel more comfortable shopping online. However, there are many other ways of getting a good deal on clothing.
How much do you spend on clothing a year? Studies show teens spend between $1,200 and $1,500 on brand name clothing in a year.
Thrift shopping is the best way to save money on clothing and other items. Thrift shops offer a wide variety of youth clothing, some even including brand names for a drastically lower price. There are quite a few thrift stores surrounding or even in Frisco, with the most common being Goodwill, Plato's Closet, and Frisco Resale. Even though the clothing is secondhand, you can still find good quality items there. Thrift shopping is the best way to save money on clothing.
Brand name clothing can typically get pricey and can range from anywhere between $15 to over $100 for a single item. Many popular brands such as Diamond, Supreme, and Obey can go for over $40 for a shirt or $50 for a hat or beanie. Online stores such as KarmaLoop.com and Moose Limited offer lots of brand name clothing and often have large sales up to 40% across the site. Online shopping can be a good way to save money on clothes, and you can even use websites like Retail Me Not to find even more additional coupons.
We asked some students if they go thrift shopping, and if not, where they prefer to shop.
Actually, I do not. I prefer a Mark Anthony sweater, American Eagle polo with some nice Hollister khakis, and my Ralph Polo shoes.
No, I prefer Nike outlets.
No, I prefer Nike. I like to keep it comfy.
Remember these helpful tips next time you shop Titans.
The yearbook is done. Bring your ID starting May 20th. The yearbook is done. Bring your ID starting May 20th. The yearbook is done. Bring your ID starting May 20th. Pick it up at these times. 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 Didn't order one? Just $80. 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 Didn't order one? Bring your ID starting May 20th.
Many students are thinking about summer jobs, and other students will continue their current employment into the summer.
How do those students keep their balance between work and school?
Exhaustion, overbearing schedules, and failing grades are all factors that a teen that has to balance school and a job might experience. But what's the perfect balance between the two, and how do you get there?
I got a car and I got more responsibilities, so I started to have to pay gas and insurance and help my mom out with just the payments, and I just needed some extra cash.
I think the most important thing is not to work too many hours. I visited with a student a week ago. He's working 40 hours a week on top of being in school from 8 to 4.
School alone can be difficult, but having a job can add unwanted stress.
So, statistics show if you have a part-time job and you work 15 to 20 hours a week, your grades actually tend to go up and not down. So that would be my advice.
Well, there's no perfect answer to balance because even adults struggle with work and family. But what I would suggest is if you're going to commit to something, that you do it 100%.
Like normally, so half my Sundays are taken up and all of my Saturday nights are, and then I have school during the week, so I don't have much time to do what I'd like to do.
A lot of teenagers struggle with asking for help. And so what I would encourage any student is that it is okay to ask for help, because it doesn't show a sign of weakness, it actually shows a sign of strength when you're asking for help. And the really cool thing about it is, if you do ask for help, people are willing to help.
If you are having difficulties balancing school and a job, just know that there are teachers, counselors, and even employers that are willing to help you out. And make sure that school is always your #1 priority. I'm Shekinah Berry for Titan TV.
Centennial softball team won second in district to move on to become by-district champions and move on again to round 2 competing at area. They will be competing against Molina at Coppell tonight starting at 7:30 and Saturday at 1 o'clock. The Titan baseball team has become district champions and are moving into the by-district games in order to compete again. Their first game was last night, with their next game being tonight at 7:30 and a follow-up game on Saturday at 7:30 if need be. Please come out to support your Titans.
Both the Titan softball and baseball teams had their senior nights last week. Good luck at College Titans. Our Centennial Sweethearts will be hosting their annual spring show, Friday, May 3rd and Saturday, May 4th, at 7:30 in the CHS Auditorium. Tickets will be $5 at the door. Students, if you find yourself questioning your teacher's outfits next week, don't be afraid. It's Teacher Appreciation Week, so to celebrate, teachers will be dressing up according to each Spirit Day. Don't forget to thank your teachers for all they do. Attention Stuco members, come to room A124 Thursday, May 9th after school for a student council meeting. We will be discussing next year's homecoming themes and preparing for the 2013-2014 school year.
That's it for this week's Titan TV.
Have a great weekend, Titans.